What about you, Evan and Simon? What do you think? What are loops?
So I think loops repeat a certain part of a script.
Exactly. They're a certain part of the script, but what do they do?
So loops are like um it's like a box and you can put box of code inside
Mm-hmm.
that big loop box. And then that
Exactly.
loop will just keep on running the code inside it over and over and over and over, depending on what the settings for the loops are. If you make it a while true loop, that makes it be kind of like a forever loop. If it's not,
Exactly.
if it's like
Mm-hmm.
something else, it'll stop after something.
Right. Now, let's say we have a bucket, all right? In this bucket, we got a couple of oranges. So far, I just have 3 oranges here. So how would the loop work? A loop will basically do a couple of tasks, just like you all said. It repeats the activity until you write a condition to stop it, or you naturally break it if it's a forever loop. So let's say we are saying that the condition is until the oranges, whatever the oranges they are, if they are almost zero or they are less than or equals to zero, until they come to this place, do something. Or let's make it something. Let's say as soon as the oranges will reach to zero as a number, keep repeating something. So if you have oranges, which are 3, and until they come 0, I want to
Just like
repeat a task.
you
What do I want to
lose.
do? Repeat a task. I want to do in the task is, let's say I want to take that orange off the bucket and keep it aside. Okay? So as a code way, what we will do is we will say orange equals orange minus 1. That means whatever the orange it is, just deduct 1 from it. Now how this loop would work? What it's going to do is it's going to count from the beginning. From the beginning, let's say you have 3 oranges. Okay, so I'm just going to write 3 here. Can you tell me how many times will this loop work?
3 times.
3 times. Exactly. So it's going to run 3 times. How? First, it's going to say, is 3 equals to 0? No. So what it's going to do is it's going to go to the loop. It's going to take that orange off. That means, let's say if you have 3 here, it's going to delete 1 from it. It's going to take 1 off. And then again come back to the condition. Now we have 2 oranges. So again, it's going to go back to the loop and it's going to detect 1 more orange from here, come back here. So now we have 1 orange, but 1 is still not equals to 0. So it's going to go again to that loop, deduct 1 from it, come back to the condition. And at this time, there are no oranges. They're all set as 0. So it's not 3, it's going to be 0. Is 0 equals to 0? Yeah, that's true. That means this loop won't work. So we have a condition. Okay? Now, there are different types of loops to do. For example, can you tell me what are 2 different types of loop we work on?
Infinity loops or finite loops.
Finite or infinite loops. Right. So we have finite loops or infinite, but within the categories of scripting Python, we have 2 different types of loop. There are the while loop and the for loops. And we will be working with them today. So let's learn about comparisons because comparisons they tell about how do you compare or how do you write a condition. So let's say if you know about what these comparisons means. I'm gonna write as a comment. It's a comment. It's not a code. So what do you think about this comparison? What does this means?
Greater or equal to. Agreed.
Right. This is bigger or equals to. Okay, so this is easy now. What about now?
Smaller or equals to.
Yeah, lesser or equals to. Now, what about this? I'm doing only with the complicated ones. What about this one?
Not equals
Not
to
equals to.
or
Exactly.
less if it's smaller.
Now, this one
Equals to.
equals to. This one
Agreed.
Bigger.
bigger
This
to
one, lesser
smaller.
or smaller. Yeah. Now we're gonna write a condition. I want to make a timer. Okay. I want to make a
How do you
timer.
make timed loops? Ifs.
That's what I'm saying. So we will be working with the while loop, and I want to make a timer. So while loop, and we are working on a input timer. So I'm going to ask a person to set the timer in seconds. It's going to be an integer, so int, input, enter timer, or let's say set timer in seconds. And we let the person enter the timer in seconds. Then we will print it and say the timer has been set for the timer that we have set. So we need to make the string because that's an integer. And then we're going to leave a line, and I will start the timer here using the while loop. The condition will be if timer is bigger than or equals to 0, keep doing something. What I'm going to do is I'll say time left and the timer. Now, what's going to be the next line here? Who's going to tell me? Or actually, I'm going to let you do. Go ahead, everyone. No, don't say it. Let's complete this code so the timer works. Actually, I'm going to I'm going to do some kind of challenging thing. I'm going to write this line and I'm going to run the code to show you how this is going to work. Cool? I'm writing
He's
the code.
hiding it from us.
Yes, I'm hiding it. I'm writing the code now.
Well, I
I'm
remember
saying,
all of it.
okay, I'm running it now and I'll show you how this works. Okay, and code. It's just one line of answer to do. So take a look. Set timer in seconds. Let's say I'm gonna have a timer for 10 seconds. That went so fast. There was 2 lines missing. I'm just gonna add one more thing.
Integers.
Okay, running it now. Let's say 10 seconds of timer, and there we go. There were just 2 lines of code I did to make this thing work. Okay, I'm gonna hide those 2 lines and bring the code back. I'm gonna let you write it and let's see if you can solve it or not. A simple math code to do. Alright, you all can get started. Okay, so Evan finished it. Stan finished the answer. Simon, you couldn't? Take a look.
No.
I'm showing the answer. The answer is simple. What you need to do is, whatever the person has entered the time, we need to go back. We don't want to go forward. We want to go back. So even if they have given 100, 200, anything, we're going to detect that time. So there are 2 ways of writing it. You can say negative equals 1, or you can say timer equals timer minus 1. Both are the same thing to type the code as. And that's the answer. So when you run it, it will do the timer job. Can you all make sure that the code is working for you? If that works, say me done.
Be done.
Cool. Thanks, Sam.
Because if you look, I can share it.